Ladies and gentlemen, you may have been hearing in the news recently that there's a compromise between the DA and the ANC over the NHI bill and how it's going to be implemented. But when you really look at the details, you got to ask yourself, is this really a compromise? We're going to get into that, ladies and gentlemen, in this video. So stick around. Let's get into it.
My wife, she get it. Yeah.
Did I hear that correctly? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Newsflash. I'm your host, Joe Emilio. Thanks for tuning in. NHI breakthrough. ANC agrees with DA not to collapse medical aids.
Something fishy's going on over here.
So, in an interview with News 24, the Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Minister revealed that two main parties in the GNU, the ANC and DA, have struck an informal agreement on NHI after an ANC concession to drop sections of the law that could collapse the medical aids. Now, what's very important to know about what happened during this meeting is a few things. One, Motsoaledi and Steenhuisen agreed to a proposal suggesting that under the NHI, the government won't collapse medical aid schemes and that a ministerial advisory council will be established. Here we are. More councils and people to oversee how things are run, blah, 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 blah. This, I don't know, this doesn't sound very hopeful for me. But regardless, for the DA, the collapse of medical aid schemes proposed by the NHI was a solid red line. So the DA was just worried that the NHI is going to destroy the private healthcare, which it would, and they apparently put their foot down. But this is where things get a bit fishy for me, right? So here we go. Part of the negotiations with Motsoaledi and Steenhuisen on the sidelines of the Lekgotla included a proposal where the medical aid issue would be discussed in a ministerial advisory council, which would be tasked with determining how NHI funding would work. Whether patients want to participate in public or private healthcare, they would do so through the fund. So that's where the disagreement was on the NHI. Now we're saying, okay, let's agree that the NHI will continue apart from how the fund is going to work. And it will be in that ministerial advisory council where there will be talk on how the fund is going to work and whether there will still be subsidies and all those kinds of things. So that was the big issue. And this is the compromise. Ladies and gentlemen, what they are saying is basically this, okay? The DA had a concern about the private healthcare sector and didn't want it to collapse. So the ANC said, okay, not a problem. Can we just agree and the NHI will continue? Can we agree on that? Can we agree? DA said, yes, we can agree on that as long as the private sector isn't collapsing. The ANC says, no, okay, fine. Why don't we establish a council that can oversee everything to make sure that the funding works, to make sure that way, no matter if you want to go private or if you want to go public, you just go to the fund and people can choose if they want private or public. And at the same time, this council will decide how the funding works. We don't have to decide on it now, but in the future, it will be decided.
Oh, a whole bunch of nothing.
They're just basically kicking the can down the road. This isn't really much of a compromise. Nowhere in this article does it even explain how they intend to make this work. Not even where the funding is coming from. Nothing. None of the important things are touched on in this article. The only thing from this article that you can gather is that there's going to be a council of some sort that are going to then decide, once that council has been formed, then decide what happens with the details of NHI. And it's very concerning that we have a council now for this NHI thing. I mean, shouldn't the health administration be overseeing all this stuff? Not that I'm for NHI. I'm just saying, like, why do we need councils after councils after councils? It just all smells very fishy. And the fact that media, DA are trying to run with this and say, like, oh, we've reached a compromise, everything's going to be okay. It is the same problem that we are seeing time and time again, where, for example, the DA or a politician, ANC, whoever will say, listen, guys, let's use the DA for an example. They'll say, guys, vote for us to save South Africa and prevent the Doomsday Coalition. And then they get into power, okay? They get into the GNU, okay? And then things still happen that would have happened with the Doomsday Party, but now people are just like, yeah, but at least the DA is in there. So you're getting the lesser of two evils, and South Africans are kind of accepting it because it's not as bad as the other outcome. And this is a perfect example. First, the DA was like, no, we're against it. We don't want it. It's bad for the country, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, well, let's just try and keep the private sector alive, which, okay, fine, that's a good thing if it even happens at this point, because none of this is set in stone. And this NHI is another good example. First the DA was like, no, we can't accept it. It's not good for the country. It's bad for the country. It's not going to help the health sector, blah, blah, blah. Going to put a strain on the taxpayer and the country. All the negative stuff they said. Now all of a sudden they're just trying to almost soften the blow of NHI. They're going to let it happen, and they're going to try and control and maybe try and make it the best outcome they can. But NHI, South Africa is not ready for NHI at all. You're going to extremely hurt the healthcare system and the taxpayer base, which is already thinning out in South Africa. I don't know. I just feel like with the Bella Bill and the way they handled the Bella Bill, which was very weak, now the NHI, it seems like it's going down the same road, a weak fight for the DA and just accepting and rolling over.
They were weak.
I don't know. I really don't like the way this is going. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But this doesn't sit well with me. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about all this? And while you're down there, leave a like on this video, share it far and wide, and subscribe to the channel. I've got more content coming your way. And with all that being said, thanks for watching. Your newsflash is in.
You're telling me for 40 years I'm supposed to be putting my meat between two pans? Ain't no way. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea if this works. We're gonna try it out, see how long it takes. I've got some frozen meat in the freezer. We're gonna put it in between two pans, and we're gonna see how long it takes. All right, so this is probably about a pound of frozen hamburger meat. Got me a couple skillets. Set it upside down, take our meat, put it on there, and take another pan and just set it on top. I'm gonna set a timer, see how long it takes to thaw out. We'll be back. All right, it's been about 37 minutes. After about 15 minutes or so, I flipped the package, but thawed. I mean, that's pretty daggone fast. I don't really know if this absorbs all the cold coming off this. I don't really know, but I didn't have to waste water in the sink. So, I mean, this is a viable option. Stick your meat in between two pots.